Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. So guys, we're going to do a video where we talk all about how the meta has changed or is going to change since patch 2.2 came out, since the buffs and the nerfs dropped. Cheeky little void pack dropping in front of my eyes right there. So, basically, what's the biggest change to this patch and what does it mean? I'll tell you now, it's actually kind of huge. So, the Roto's nerf was heavy. Some people are trying to splash it out that it's not as heavy as it seems. I'm telling you now, it is heavy. It's worse than I thought it was going to be because not only did they change up the block revive, they also removed part of the defense that he ignores, and they reduced his damage. They did 3 things to him, as well as like a minor thing here, dropping his chance of an extra turn. What does it mean? Basically, his A3 in the arena, and this is what I'm focusing this video on, his A3 in the arena, forget block revive, guys. Just assume that block revive is not part of his kit. And not having block revive as part of his kit throws up very different meta in this game. So, what has he been in there for, and what has he stopped for the last 3 months or however long he's been out? Basically, he has been a tank killer. He has been anti-block revive in the meta. And he can one-shot a Torment. So he's got 3 things that he could do, which dictated that the meta would swing away from revive champions. It would swing away from tank meta. Sorry, there's a 4th thing, actually. He's also got a passive, which means you've got to hit him twice. You've got to hit him twice, otherwise he will come back and decimate your team. So 4 things that he's doing. He's blocking the tanks, he's blocking revive champs, he's blocking Torments, and he's also blocking AoE damage dealers that only hit a single time. So with him falling out of the meta, and he will do, guys, within 2 or 3 weeks, we won't see anywhere near as many Roto's defense teams out there. It's still fine for offense because you're controlling what he's doing. But for defense, you won't see him. You'll see him as people that perhaps just don't care about changing up their teams. So it will massively impact the meta in the arena. We're already starting to see it. If I look at my 3v3 opponents right now, there's still quite a lot of Rotus in there, but it is like thinning out. And it will thin out a lot more. All of these teams here, these will change up. What do I think it's going to do? So, firstly, Trunda is now undoubtedly Queen, King. I'm not sure what she classes herself as, but she is top of the meta. Absolutely top of the meta. She does more damage than anyone else in the meta for AoE nuking. So she's top of the meta. But actually really close to her, I think, is Foley. Foley is another AoE nuker. He keeps people dead. So that he still antis the revive meta, and he hits really freaking hard. So Foley, I think, comes in as 2nd place AoE nuker. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see hegemons coming in as full damage hegemons again. So if you think about why has a hegemon kind of moved away from damage, basically because he activates a Rotus. Or if Rotus comes out of the meta, I think full damage Hedgies come back into the meta. And trust me, they can sting. They can sting hard. So I think we're going to see full damage Hedgies coming way up into the meta, like probably 3rd spot in terms of effectiveness or requirement. I don't think we're going to see Candraphon come in as 4th place. Now, Candraphon kind of does what Rotus does, in a sense. He can stay alive. So Candraphon in a fight can take a hit, which is why Rotos was so good as an AoE nuker. If you think about a Trunda, think about a Foley, they actually can't take a hit. So, if you've got a team running like this, your Candraphon basically takes 40% less damage. If you put him in the right gear, set him up in the right way. Look how little damage he's taking there in that AoE compared to everyone else on my team. Look how little the damage was he just took against a Foley. Yeah? That is why I think he's going to come way up in the meta, like top 5 nuker. Because not only does he do that, this could be perfect if this actually works, but I might lose before it works. Let's see. Get increased attack up. You never know your luck. It might just happen straight out. Ooh, it did! It did! So Candrafon comes up top of, not top of the meta, top 5. Top 5 because he can stay alive. And in the meta, if you cannot go first, like me just there, it was like the perfect example. Thank you, game. We couldn't go first. We still won because Candrafon could take the hits. And because of his affinity is negative to most of the AoE nukers right now. So Candrafon, I think, is going to fly up the meta. I think we're going to see a resurgence of Ray. Ray is a massive hitter. She can cleanse all of buffs at the same time as smacking and freezing. She's come out of the meta because she's a single target nuker. Or sorry, not single target. She's an AoE nuker, but she is a single hit nuker. If Rotus is coming out of the meta, I think she rises back. I think she comes back. I think we're going to see Skullcrown as ever. Skullcrown is even more effective without Rotus around because Rotus could one-shot a Skullcrown and take her out of the game. And I actually think someone else we're going to see popping into the meta is, let me show you her, and I'll probably do a separate video on this wee lass, is actually going to be Abyss. Now, Abyss has had a buff, and she's actually now pretty damn strong. So she was already strong. She could already hit hard. So I guess the team I'm showing you here would have done the same thing if it works before the nerf. So before the buffs and nerfs came out. But her damage multiplier on her A3 is improved. Firstly, it was already good, but it's improved. And is she going to get a turn? Let's try and make sure she does. Go on, please. Here we go. So a damage multiplier on her A3 is strong. She's actually weak hitting against all of these, which is not the best example, but still sits people down. So, you know, she's a strong hitter. She's got that AoE nuke on her A3, which scales well against defensive champions. And the next part of this video is where I talk about those defensive champions probably coming back into the game. So I think she's going to scale really well in those comps. She's also now got an AoE decreased defense, which works. Hits everyone. So I think Abyss is going to be coming up the meta as well. So I think that's, for me, like the top 5, 6, 7, whatever, AoE nukers that are going to rise to the top. We're definitely seeing more love for Dark Elhain in the meta. She can hit hard. And I'm sure there'll be some other ones which start to kind of fly up as well. Now, Madame and Sifi have not changed. They are both as good as they ever were. You need to speed tune a bit better with Sifi, which I've not done yet. But yeah, they are as strong as they ever were. Those two are going to be top tier in the meta in terms of speed, speed boosting your team and debuffing the enemy. Absolute top tier for offense. Now, I think what we're going to see on defense is very different setups. So at the moment, you can still see most of these teams here are speed into protection, into, you know, some sort of damage dealer, pretty much everywhere. It's still the same, speed into damage dealers. We're starting to see a creep of slightly tankier teams, perhaps. But I think what we're going to see from, you know, maybe 2 weeks from now will be revive champions. So Raglan was the best champion in the arena before Rotus came out. I think she'll be back. I think she'll be back top tier. She revives really quickly. You can build a really tanky, high resistance, and she will just be a nuisance as an arena defense. I think we'll see a lot more Duchess. We'll still see Sifi and Arbiter. I think Torment is going to come back into... He's actually already in a lot of teams again. Already in a ton of defense teams. I think he'll be back in the top of the meta. I think his nerf wasn't a nerf. He got buffed. He got buffed, which is crazy to me because I think actually he didn't need it. But he's going to be in a ton of teams. I think we're going to see Valk, Krisk, and Warlord in a ton of teams. Now, if you kind of scale back from all of those legendaries, you know, I think we're going to see just a tankier arena defense meta with revive champions. So, you know, Morley back into the meta. Cardinal sort of squads could come back into the meta because there's going to be less block revives out there. So that kind of Cardinal team, which we saw Manable run recently, I think will be actually kind of one of the top tier offensive teams and an annoying defensive team But yeah, I think we're going to see revive comps. We're going to see defensive champs coming back into defense comps. And I think give it 2 weeks, the meta completely shakes up. All from one nerf. There's only really been one nerf, guys. No one else is properly nerfed. One nerf and a couple of buffs. Complete change of the arena meta. So I'm going to show you just a few fights now, playing around with some of my comps. And you'll see why some of those kind of champs are so strong. So Foley, because of his block revive, I think is almost on a par with Trunda. I don't have a Trunda to show you, but Foley now is absolutely top tier. Absolutely top tier. Because he's one of the few now that can deal with that problem. If he blocks revives and there's multiple revivers on the enemy defense, which I think there will be soon, then he's going to deal with that. Most of the revive champions, Morley, Duchess, are either Spirit or Void. Sifi, Raglin, Arbiter. So he actually is the perfect affinity to deal with them. But you'll see he is super strong. You'll see Candrafon is super strong. Doesn't even need drop defense really. He's so strong. But can probably show it here. I haven't built my Ray out yet, but I think Ray could even come into this sort of lineup as a second nuker. So actually, I don't have my Candrafon speed tuned, which is stupid. But even though they've got increased defense up and stuff, I think we still just absolutely ruin their day. Come on, Candrafon, have a go. Have a go, my friends. Ruin their day. Now, he killed himself. He killed himself. Okay, fair enough. Good effort. Good effort, Angar. Good effort. Counter-attack off. See you later. Killed himself again. Killed himself twice in this video, guys. But anyway, look, you can see how strong some of these champions are. Sifi, absolutely still top tier. Like, no change there. She is top of the game. She is so good now because she's also able to deal with freezes. And I think because there's a couple of those champions coming back that are going to be frozen, that are going to freeze your team, I think Sifi brings even more utility for you. So let's just shut her down. Damn, this isn't already... Look at this. Like, there's no offense in this team at all. Already, this is exactly what I'm talking about. A really good defensive team, which is super annoying. Like, totally annoying to deal with. Leave the poor fella alone. Give him a chance. Can we get him to have a turn sometime? Let's go. I don't know. Oh, he's actually disgusting. Like, he is actually disgusting when he gets a turn. This has been a really tough comp. Damn. Like, even his A1. Oh, he's dead again. Coming back. Even his A1 is disgusting. Here we go. Is it time? Is it time at last? Whew. What a fight that was. Then he gets another turn because he's not finished there. Finish him up. Hit the auto. There we go. Anyway. Wow. What a fight that was. Yeah, so the other thing, actually, this is really relevant timing on it. We're going to see a ton more long fights. A ton more long fights. You are going to need champions that can chew through defensive comps. You're going to need champions. And actually, maybe that will mean that Rotus just ends up coming back. Quite often what happens is you do this full circle because that's what Rotus is actually good at, is killing defensive champions. You know, if we had to fight against a defensive comp, I don't know, like Defensive, defensive, defensive. So you've got 3 defensive champions here. 0 offense. There's no offense there at all. So that's actually when Rotus is at his best. You've got 2 revived champions. It's almost exactly what I'm talking about here. 2 revived champs. Does this straight out work? Let's see. Yeah, so maybe this is exactly the sort of comp that we're going to see Rotus come back into to fight. You know, he's still got an A3, which hurts. And instead of going for the Tormund now, you go for the Duchess and hope that you get a kill. But that's the difference. Like, that would have killed her before. If I can just finish her off. So, and then secondly, you take out the one who is the next champion that's going to be reviving. So all of a sudden, you know, we've taken out 2 revived champions. She's asleep anyway, so you take out 1 more, hopefully. But they're all just close to dying, whereas before they're definite deaths. Like before, 100% of the time, that's dead. But I still think Rotus could end up full swing, coming back into the meta, but he just won't be block reviving anyone. He'll be coming in to deal with these tanky teams, which suddenly are coming through. So that could be quite an interesting, you know, change as well, because he's not. Just forget he's got block revive. It doesn't exist anymore, guys. It doesn't exist in his kits for the arena. It takes so long to get that increase. The increase max HP that it just doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for the video. Definitely a massive change is coming. Get yourself ready, and I'll catch you soon.